time, which was really strange, my father, at that point, I think, he said I was rude, to a man, in my company at that point, and the man reported me to him, and my father came, like, wanting to be the fatherly, person, and then he gave me a slap. And I remember I was so angry, like, how dare you, and for a teenage girl, you'll be surprised, like, you can't talk to your father like that. But I was so, I was so outraged, like, how dare you slap me, like, you don't have any right, to put your hands on me. And why was I able to say that? Because as far as I'm concerned, he gave up his right, of being my dad, the very day he turned his back on me as a child. How do I feel as a girl growing up without my father being present in my life? I was sad, It was a painful experience, not having a father to go home to, not having a father, to protect you from the wolves, like I call of life. And at an early age, that means, you're looking for something, you're looking for that father figure, you're looking for that authoritative figure, over your life. So that left me with one thing. I went on a search for that, so as a child, one thing, something that she could not have in the house, she went out, in search of that. And obviously that story is for another day, what happened in the search. But yes, as a child growing up, you feel sad, you don't have your father to give you, a daddy, cuddle and, the love of a father, because, my father never saw my results. My father never knew that, at a point in my life, I just hated going to school because, of the bully factor in which I went through, and the struggles in which I had as a child growing up. My father doesn't know any one of them, and for you it is painful because you want to share. Not only do you want to share, but you also want your father to look to your eyes and say, what, you are my princess, because that is what we are. Every girl is a princess in the father's eye. So what do I have? I have no one, to tell me that, listen, it doesn't matter what, it just does not matter what is going on out there, as long as he's concerned. I'm the beautiful and the best thing that has ever happened to him. I did not have that. I did not have my father admire me as a gift, to him, because I believe that every child is a gift to their parents. So yes, I did not get that, admiration from my father, and I also did not get the affirmation, from my father. So that basically left me with one thing, and that it was a void, and this void, I needed somebody to fill it up. So you guessed what happened, I was on the streets because I need somebody to fill that void.
And at what age do you think you began to overcompensate?
At
Search of a male figure.
At the age of 14, I was out in the streets.
Oh, so you were young.
I was very young.
But you didn't relate with him, is what you're saying?
No, I didn't relate with my dad at all.
Okay. So in what ways, can you give us a little bit about how did you make up for it in search of a father?
Basically, is just go out there and look for a male figure. And when we say look for a male figure, obviously you're not going there to look for a father, or you're going there to look for, a boyfriend. So yeah, I made up, for that by, going into a healthy relationship I shouldn't have.
So you started dating young.
Yeah, I started dating young.
Which I think a lot of girls can relate to,
Mm-hmm.
and even a lot of guys maybe they even start off younger, trying to get more male affirmation.
Yeah.
But how? Just speak to the people who are going through that now. What would your advice be to them? And I know you've put some of that in the book, but just what would your advice be to?
Definitely, my advice, yes, I went that route, but the truth of the matter is, do I want anybody to go through that route? The answer is simply no, because whether your father was there or your father was not there, going in search or going for a replacement, absolutely makes no difference. It makes no change. It does not. Yes, there is a void, and we think, oh, by bringing a man or by getting a man means filling the void. No, because your father is your father, and the fact that he left that role unfilled means, no any other person can fill that role. The only person that can come close to filling that role, and I repeat myself, will be that of the person of a husband. And until then, I would definitely say do not go for a replacement, because what that does is it adds more pain, and more injury, to already wounded hearts.
Wow. And what I love is that you're very open in the book, The Woman in You, and you talk about the wounds that you went through and the pain that you went through, but thank God you came out of.
Yeah.
Amen.